You've heard the universe is expanding, but expanding from where? This is a question that challenges the imagination, one that cuts against everything we're used to in daily life. Our instincts crave a center, an anchor point, a place to say, that's where it all began. Most of us picture the Big Bang as an explosion, with debris flung out in every direction from some cosmic origin, a central point where everything started, and from which galaxies are still flying. But what if that picture is completely, fundamentally mistaken? What if the universe has no center, no edge, and yet it's still expanding? This realization isn't just a quirk of modern physics. It's a profound reimagining of what a universe can be. For billions of years, galaxies have drifted apart, carried not by their own motion through space, but by the stretching and swelling of space itself. The distances between clusters and superclusters, between you and the farthest quasar, inflate like the surface of a balloon being filled with air. But in this analogy, there's no place on the surface that marks the true beginning, no locus of expansion, no preferential place from which everything recedes. Every point is as good as any other. Every place is as central as the next. Most people, when they think of the Big Bang, see it as a shattering event, a titanic blow-up, something that happened somewhere, perhaps conjuring images of a fireball temporarily suspended in an endless, quiet darkness. The universe as an expanding sphere, with us buried somewhere within. But that instinct is a result of our everyday experience. When something explodes, it does so at a point in space, sending fragments outward through empty air or vacuum. But the Big Bang, the real scientific one, wasn't like that at all. That event wasn't an explosion in space. It was an explosion of space. Before the Big Bang, there was no outside. There was no space at all. Not the expanse we traverse, not the vacuum satellites coast through, not even the emptiest reach between galaxies. In the deepest sense, the Big Bang didn't send stuff flying outward from a dot. It expanded everything from everywhere, all at once. Space itself leapt into being and began to stretch. There is no lamppost floating on the edge, nowhere to stand and look in on the action from afar. There was no edge, no outside, no center. What commenced in that singular moment was existence itself. To begin to grasp this, imagine the universe like the skin of a balloon. Not the balloon as a three-dimensional object, but the two-dimensional surface on which its rubber is drawn. If you mark several dots on that surface and begin to inflate the balloon, you see something curious. Every dot moves away from all the others, but none sits at the center of that surface. In fact, the center of expansion is not on the surface at all. It's somewhere outside, in an extra dimension you'd have to leave the skin to reach. For all the dots, inhabitants of the surface, their universe has no preferred location. Every spot is just as good as the next. Now, scale that up. Balloon becomes cosmos, dots become galaxies, two-dimensional skin becomes our three-dimensional universe. As this cosmic balloon inflates, every galaxy sees itself as stationary, while all the rest speed away in every direction. Yet, paradoxically, none of them can claim to be the center, because the expansion doesn't have a center in the universe. It occurs through the universe, applied equally to every bit of space. This realization changed science. Back in the 1920s, astronomer Edwin Hubble peered through telescopes into the swirling heavens and made a revolutionary discovery. Every galaxy, apart from those gravitationally bound to our Milky Way, was streaming away from us. Not slowly, either. Over cosmic distances, their motion approached astonishing speeds, with the most remote galaxies vanishing into the abyss at velocities nearly matching the speed of light. Did that mean we're at the center of the universe? Hardly. Hubble's insight and the subsequent mathematics of general relativity revealed another truth. It's the space between galaxies that's expanding, not the galaxies racing through pre-existing space. If you lived in a distant galaxy billions of light years from Earth, you'd see the same pattern. All other galaxies would appear to move away, with distant ones receding faster still. The universe grants no special viewpoint. Every observer, everywhere, measures the same expansion, the same stretching of the cosmic fabric beneath their feet. But if there's no center, you might ask, is there an edge, a boundary where everything suddenly stops? The answer, as far as science can tell, is just as strange. The universe has no edge. For all we know, it could be infinite, extending without border or terminus in all directions, evading limits as deftly as it lacks a center. Alternatively, if the universe curves back on itself in a higher dimensional sense, like the surface of our balloon, but now wrapped in 3 dimensions, then journeying far enough in one direction would eventually bring you back to your starting point, all without ever hitting a wall or barrier. This is the classic analogy of the 3-dimensional sphere, a hypersphere where straight lines eventually loop back in a cosmic embrace, but without ever encountering an edge. The universe could be finite, yet unbounded, eternal, yet without end. So what do we see? We look out with our telescopes, probing backward in time as we spy ever more distant galaxies, collecting ancient light that's traveled for billions of years. Yet, even as our reach grows, there's a fundamental limit: the observable universe. Beyond a certain distance, light simply hasn't had enough time to reach us since the universe began. The vast abyss outside that bubble isn't an edge in the traditional sense. It's a horizon, a curtain drawn by the finite speed of light and the ticking clock of cosmic history. That invisible boundary defines the farthest corners of our knowledge, a sphere centered on Earth, about 46 billion light-years in radius. Not because the universe is that old, but because space itself has grown as the light journeyed toward us. Beyond that lies more universe, possibly infinite, possibly curling back on itself, forever out of observational reach. But just because we can't see or measure it doesn't mean it isn't there. It's a limit on what's observable, not on what exists. All of this would be monumental enough, but reality has another breathtaking twist. The expansion of the universe is not slowing down, it's speeding up. For most of cosmic history, gravity, the attractive force between all matter, has tried to rein in the expansion. But in the last several billion years, a new player has taken the stage: dark energy. This mysterious, invisible ingredient, comprising nearly 70% of all the energy and mass in the cosmos, acts as a kind of anti-gravity, causing the expansion not to decelerate, but to accelerate. The more space there is, the more dark energy, and the faster everything pulls away. No one knows exactly what dark energy is or why it acts this way. It's one of the most profound mysteries in physics today. The implications are startling. As the universe continues to speed up, ever more galaxies will vanish beyond our cosmic horizon. Their light, already stretched to faint whispers by the expanding void, will eventually grow so dim, so redshifted, that it will never reach us again, lost forever in a darkness that grows thicker with the passage of time. In the far future, perhaps only our closest galactic neighbors will remain visible as the rest of the universe fades into eternal night. What do these cosmic facts mean for us here on our rocky blue world? They force us to reframe our sense of place. The universe is not arranged around us, nor around any other spot. There is no cosmic capital, no privileged perch, no heavenly anchor to declare as a beginning or an end. Everywhere is equally nowhere, and everywhere is equally somewhere. The patterns of expansion and structure break the last traces of ego in the human story. We are not the center. Yet this lack of a center, of a border, or an edge, does not render existence meaningless. In fact, it makes our place in the cosmos all the more precious. Each point in the universe is as important as any other. From the furthest galaxy swirling in darkness to the patch of sky above your head. Your existence, your awareness, participates in the universe's grandeur, an echo of cosmic history encoded in your atoms, your thoughts, your questions. Every starlit sky is a celebration of this cosmic democracy. Every viewpoint is central, every home unique, every gaze from every world as authentically at the center as any other. That's not just a scientific fact, it's a philosophical revolution. The story of the expanding universe has no final page yet. Its future, like its boundaries, remains mysterious. Forces we only dimly grasp shape the fate of space and time themselves. All around us, space continues its silent, relentless swelling, mirroring none of the violence of human explosions, but expressing instead a gentle, omnipresent transformation. As we look up and outward, we're not seeing galaxies rush through a cold framework. They're being carried by the stretching of the framework itself. The expansion echoes through that grand geometry, a universal rhythm that choreographs the movement of clusters, stars, and planets alike. One of the most beautiful truths in science is that questions lead to deeper mysteries. Local knowledge, our corner of the cosmos, is just that, a tiny patch drawn in the dust of infinity. Past the edge of the observable, past the fading starlight, lies more space, more time, more unknown. Is the universe truly infinite? Does it close back on itself? Is it just one bubble among an infinite froth of universes, each with its own rules and fabric? As we pursue answers, our very perspective, our sense of self, is transformed. This understanding of an expanding, centerless cosmos teaches humility as well as awe. We are made of ancient stardust, creatures briefly aware on a tiny planet, in a vast universe without boundaries or centers or distinguishing marks other than those we ascribe. The meaning, then, is not imposed from without, but made from within. The cosmos invites us not to find our place in the center, but to recognize the cosmic unity, the equality of all perspectives, and, in that recognition, to shape meaning for ourselves. The universe has no center, no boundary, but it does have meaning, the meaning we give it through curiosity, attention, and an endless hunger to know. Each new question, whether about the Big Bang or the fate of the stars, expands not just the universe we observe, but the universe within our own minds. Tomorrow we take the next daring step, asking what might be the most radical idea of all. Are we, in fact, living inside a giant black hole? The journey into cosmic mystery is far from over. Stay curious and never stop wondering.